Namashreshtam manumapi sachiputramatru swarupam rupam tasya grajam urupurim maturim gaustavitim radha kundam girivaram aho radhika madhavasam prapto yasya pratita kripaya shri gurum tam natosmi jayam vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. It's good to be back at Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, West London, after a successful Glastonbury preaching extravaganza. It was quite an extravaganza, 300,000 people. It was the Mat's first preaching event there in a long time, maybe 17 years. And overall it went successfully. There's some post about it on social media. And we'll probably post a little more as well. I think I'll do a write-up or maybe another video about the Mutt's Glastonbury preaching, because it's worthy of further news coverage. So we'll do that another time. Right now we'll continue with our Chaitanya Charitamrita. Where are we? Chapter 4 of Adi Lila, which is I believe the confidential reasons for the descent of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. No, Adi Lila. Did I say Madhya Lila? I meant Adi Lila. Correction. Maybe it's the effects of sunstroke. Adi Lila, chapter 4. Yes, that's what is Madhya Lila chapter 4? It's something different, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Madhya Lila chapter 4 will cover Madhavendra Puri's activities as related by Nityananda Prabhu to Mahaprabhu at the temple of Kirachora Gopinath in Ramuna. It will either be that or the story of Shakshi Gopal. That's Madhya Lila chapter 4. But I meant to say Adi Lila, which is the confidential reasons for the descent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So as we'll see, I think, where are we here? Text 185. Chapter 3 is the external reasons. In this edition, the title for chapter 3 is not as specific. It simply says, the causes for the descent of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the title for chapter 3. And then the title of chapter 4 is the confidential reasons for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya. So chapter 4 is specific, confidential reasons. Chapter 3 does not have the same level of specificity. It simply says the causes. It does not say the external causes. However, if you go on Vedabase and you look at the title for chapter 3, it will say the external causes. Vedabase is the online Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. It will say the external reasons for the descent of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they've edited it to reflect more accurately, or the original Bengali title of the chapter. This is the very first edition of Chaitanya Charitamrita. If we look at the publishing date, it's 1974 by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. So I imagine it's the very first edition. Because then in 1975, they did a famous book publishing marathon at the ISKCON temple in Los Angeles to print the remaining 17 volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita in 2 months. It's a famous little piece of ISKCON history. Prabhupada told them, I want it done in 2 months. And someone said, that's impossible. And Prabhupada turned around and he stamped his cane on the ground. They were on a morning walk. He stamps his cane on the ground. And he says what are now very famous words. Impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. Very famous aphorism of Prabhupada's. No. I don't think he coined it. I think it has its origins somewhere else. But he used it in this relation to this objection regarding publishing 17 volumes in 2 months seemed to be a superhuman feat. Someone said, impossible. He said, impossible. No, it's a word in a fool's dictionary. And they got it done. They stayed up. They worked around the clock, and they got the remaining 17 volumes of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which I imagine would be 17 volumes. It's quite a lot, isn't it? It's probably, let's say, there's chapters in 25, 17, 25, 20 chapters in Antya-lila, but I don't know how many volumes. Anyway, probably all of Antya-lila and maybe half of Madhya-lila. I'm just guessing. I forget how many volumes actually the Chaitanya Charitamrita is divided into. But there's some 17 chapters in Adi-lila, and then I think 25 in Madhya-lila, and then 20 in Antya-lila. Anyway, they accomplished it. They got all 17 remaining volumes published in 2 months. And Swami Maharaj Prabhupada was very happy. Back to today's chapter, the confidential reasons for the descent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, we will continue from text 183. E deha darshana sparshe Krishna santoshana, e lagi kare dehira marjana bhushana. Krishna finds joy in seeing and touching this body. It is for this reason that they cleanse and decorate their bodies. This is obviously the gopis talking. And the context is, it's a general theme, is it not? Na paraye ham. Nijangam apyagopyo mamete samupashate tabya param name partha nigudha prema bhajanam. O Arjuna, there are no greater receptacles of deep love for me than the gopis, who cleanse and decorate their bodies because they consider them mine. Purport: this verse is spoken by Lord Krishna in the Adi Purana. Ada eka adbhuta gopi bhavira svabhava buddhira gochara nahi yanhara prabhava. There is another wonderful feature of the emotion of the gopis. Its power is beyond the comprehension of the intelligence. Gopigana karayabe Krishna darashana sukha vancha nahi sukha hayakoti guna. When the gopis see Lord Krishna, they derive unbounded bliss, although they have no desire for such pleasure. Gopika darshane Krishnara ye anandahaya taha haite koti guna gopi ashvadaya. The gopis taste a pleasure 10 million times greater than the pleasure Lord Krishna derives from seeing them. Tansabara nahi nija sukha anurodha tatapi buddhaye sukha padila virodha. The gopis have no inclination for their own enjoyment, and yet their joy increases. That is indeed a contradiction. E virodhira ekamatra deki samadhana gopikara sukha Krishna sukhe parya vasana. For this contradiction I see only one solution. The joy of the gopis lies in the joy of their beloved Krishna. Gopika darshane Krishnera badhe prafulata se madhurya badhe aranadhika samata. When Lord Krishna sees the gopis, his joy increases, and his unparalleled sweetness increases also. Amara darshane Krishna paila eta sukha, e sukhe gopira prafula angamukha. The gopis think, Krishna has obtained so much pleasure by seeing me. That thought increases the fullness and the beauty of their faces and bodies. Gopi sobha dekhi Krishnera sobha badhyata, Krishna sobha dekhi gopira sobha badhyatata. The beauty of Lord Krishna increases at the sight of the beauty of the gopis. And the more the gopis see Lord Krishna's beauty, the more their beauty increases. E mata paraspara pari hudahudi, paraspara badhe ke hamuka nahimudi. In this way, a competition takes place between them in which no one acknowledges defeat. In biology, there is a concept, biological process known as negative feedback. When a particular bodily process is activated, particularly in hormone release. So there's a hormonal gland, release hormones into the bloodstream. But once the blood hormone level reaches a particular saturation, then there is a stop switch. There is a feedback mechanism where a particular blood percentage of this, whatever, say adrenaline for instance, has been reached. And then that triggers a negative feedback where there's now an instruction to turn off the production of that hormone, for instance. But this is an example of positive feedback. So the relationship between the gopis and Krishna is mutually enhancing. The gopis' love for Krishna, or the gopis' sight of Krishna, causes their own love and beauty to increase. And the increase in their love and beauty causes Krishna's love and beauty to increase. And his increase in love and beauty causes their love and beauty to in turn increase. And that subsequent increase in turn again causes his beauty to increase. So it's a positive feedback. It wouldn't work in biology where imagine an adrenaline release into the bloodstream. It reaches a certain level and that causes another hormone release which instructs the adrenal glands to release even more adrenaline, which causes the other gland to instruct it to release even more. It would get absolutely out of control. So the body has negative feedback mechanisms to ensure its balance and healthy function. But there is no balance in the relationship between Krishna and the gopis. It is an infinite, inconceivable, perpetual increasing of the love and beauty exchanged between them. It is impossible to comprehend with the human intellect. Human consciousness cannot grasp and understand, at least not practically. Perhaps hypothetically we can appreciate it. But such a phenomenon is impossible in this world because of the intrinsic limitation of the psychophysical environment or the psychophysical condition and the environment we live in. It's impossible for positive feedback to increase, for that dynamic, for that system to constantly inflate and increase. Of course, we have in economics, economists, they're constantly increasing the economic output of a country or a person, or the exchange of wealth. The desire, the model is constantly increasing, but of course then it must reach a certain point and it contracts. So in the current, at least the way current economies, the economic model predominant on the earth today, is that we go through periods of inflation and then collapse. Grows bigger and bigger and bigger and collapses. Grows because nothing can keep on growing bigger and bigger and bigger. It's completely impossible. Except the love of Krishna and the gopis, that grows bigger and bigger and bigger. One activates the other to grow, and that growth causes the other to grow, like this, ad infinitum. Like a snowball running down the side of a snow-covered mountain may start as the size of a fist, but it quickly gathers in size, or gains in size, as it rolls down the hill. And as it gains in size, its rate of size increase, that also increases. So it gets bigger faster, the bigger it gets. So that's called exponential growth. So that would be another way of describing the love between Krishna and the gopis. It grows exponentially. The more they see one another, the more beautiful they appear, and the more beautiful they appear, the more they want to see one another, etc. So it grows exponentially. But it's something, it's a dynamic that can be appreciated as the very pinnacle achievement of a living entity, to enter into that place of infinite love. But it is not something that can be replicated in this Mayak environment. Kintu Krishnara sukha haya gopi rupa gune, tanra sukhe sukha bridhi haya gopi gane. Krishna, however, derives pleasure from the beauty and good qualities of the gopis. And when the gopis see his pleasure, the joy of the gopis increases. An infinite increase of beauty and joy. Atayeva se sukha Krishna sukha pose e hetu gopi preme nahi kama doshi. Therefore we find that the joy of the gopis nourishes the joy of Lord Krishna. For that reason, the fault of lust is not present in their love. Elsewhere in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kaviraj Goswami defines the difference, isn't here, could be coming up here. Defines the difference between lust and love. And it's very simple. That lust is motivated by a desire for personal pleasure, and love has no such desire for personal pleasure. It is exclusively a desire to provide pleasure to another. That's love. So even though lust may take covers, it's like, may seem that two people are mutually contributing to each other's pleasure. If you examine the underlying motive, it is one of selfish desire. And that is antithetical to love. So although lust and love may superficially share a set of symptoms, fundamentally they are different in nature, because the underlying drive or motive of the participants is very different, antithetical, opposite to one another. One is the desire to give pleasure, and the other is the desire to take pleasure. So if we understand the law of cause and effect, we can see that the effect of lust and love are quite different. Even though superficially they may exhibit similar symptoms, the resulting effect is not similar, quite different. Therefore we find that the joy of the gopis nourishes the joy of Krishna. For that reason the fault of lust is not present. Upetya pati sundari tatibir abir abhyarchitam simatkura kirambitair natad apanga bangi shatahi stana stavaka sancharan nayana chanchari kanchalam brajje vijayanam bajje vipina deshitaha keshavam. I worship Lord Keshava. Coming back from the forest of Braja, he is worshipped by the gopis who mount the roofs of their palaces and meet him on the path with 100 manners of dancing glances and gentle smiles. The corners of his eyes wander like large black bees around the gopis' breasts. Purport: this statement appears in the Keshav Astaka of the Stavamala, compiled by Rupa Goswami. Ara eka gopi premera svabhavi kachina ye prakare haya prema kama gandahina. There is another natural symptom of the gopis' love that shows it to be without a trace of lust. Gopi preme kare Krishna madhuryera pushti madhurye badhaya prema hana mahatushti. The love of the gopis nourishes the sweetness of Lord Krishna, and that sweetness in turn increases their love, for they are greatly satisfied. Priti Vishayanande tad ashrayananda tanha nahi nija sukha vanchara sambandha. The happiness of the abode of love is the happiness of the object of that love. This is not a relationship of desire for personal gratification. There we go. Nirupari prema yanha tanha eriti priti vishaya sukhe ashrayera priti nija premanande Krishna sevananda badhe se anandera prati bhaktera haya mahakrodhe. Whenever there is unselfish love, that is its style. What is its style? That the happiness of the abode of love, that is the giver of the love, is also the happiness, or comes from the happiness of the object of the love. So one's own happiness is tied to the happiness of the other. Unlike lust, where happiness is not necessarily tied to the happiness of the other. This is not a relationship of desire for personal gratification. So that is its style. Translation: whenever there is unselfish love, that is its style. The reservoir of love derives pleasure when the lovable object is pleased. When the pleasure of love interferes with the service of Lord Krishna, the devotee becomes angry towards such ecstasy. Now we'll have the famous instance of Krishna's attendant, Daruka. Who was Daruka? Krishna's charioteer, was he not? First from the Bhagavatam. It says it's from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay. Anga stambarambam utangayantam premanandam daruko nabhyanandat kam sarater vijani yena shakshad akshodiyan antarayo vyadhai. Sri Daruka did not relish his ecstatic feelings of love, for they caused his limbs to become stunned and thus obstructed his service of fanning Lord Krishna. So Kaviraj Goswami is giving examples of this nature, examples of his statements that pure love is not concerned with selfish pleasure. There is no trace of it even. Rather, it's concerned with the pleasure of the object of the love. So in this regard, the gopis have no desire for personal enjoyment. Their enjoyment comes with Krishna's enjoyment. The primary driver is to give desire, to give love, to give happiness to Krishna. And then as a byproduct of that, they themselves experience happiness. Similarly, our prime driver in our spiritual activities should be to give happiness to Gurudev, Gurudev is our immediate link to Gauranga Mahaprabhu, to Krishna. Connection to Gauranga Mahaprabhu, we may say, yes, we're followers of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and that's true in a broad sense. But even more specifically, we are followers of Gurudev. For there is no Gauranga Mahaprabhu without Gurudev. So, if we want to identify ourselves in the most accurate fashion, then we are followers of Gurudev. So in this regard, the relationship should be characterized by a desire to give pleasure, to please Gurudev, not to please oneself. But this is the beautiful thing. Just like the gopis' love for Krishna has no desire for personal enjoyment, it gives great pleasure to Krishna, and that pleasure of Krishna in turn produces much ecstasy in the gopis. So similarly, giving pleasure to Gurudev is the source of the pleasure of the sincere disciple. And it's a pleasure that outstrips directly trying to find pleasure in some kind of service. Because with service, with sadhana, as Mahaprabhu tells Rupa Goswami, the watering of the plant, sadhana, what is sadhana? It's providing nourishment, water and fertilizer to the bhakti plant, known as the bhakti lata, climbing plant. Mahaprabhu's metaphor for bhakti is that of a climbing plant, bhakti lata. And sadhana bhakti is the nourishment, the water and the fertilizer. But Mahaprabhu tells Rupa Goswami that along with the administration of water and fertilizer to the bhakti plant, there are weeds nearby that also, they drink that water and they consume that fertilizer and they grow around your bhakti lata at the same time. So it seems paradoxical that we perform sadhana to nourish our bhakti lata, but we are also nourishing weeds. There is a high possibility that we are also feeding undesirable plants, weeds, in that same garden of our heart. So what are those weeds? Mahaprabhu identifies 5 of them. Himsa, kutinati, puja, pratishta, and that's 4. Perhaps there's 4. Puja, pratishta, himsa, kutinati. Maybe one more. Maybe there's just 4. Maybe there's one more. So, particularly we can see pratishta comes into play. But if one, just like one offers or one endeavors to provide happiness to one's Gurudev, then if also one offers any honor and respect one gets to Gurudev, then as Gurudev says in his own words, Srila Govinda Maharaj, then that light shines back down on oneself. So just like one derives happiness from giving pleasure to the Guru, then also one derives a certain amount of prestige by giving honor to one's Gurudev. It's not a selfish thing. It's not a weed in the garden of bhakti. It is a natural byproduct of exalting and promoting and serving, giving pleasure to one's Gurudev. It's a very high thing. It's connecting with the spiritual substance. So it is the same principle in operation. This principle guides and characterizes the fundamental motivation of our spiritual practices to give pleasure to the senses of Krishna. And that pleasure, that offering, which is designed to give Krishna pleasure, is done via one's Gurudev, via one's service to our Gurudev. So thus we see that Gurudev becomes all in all in the life of a devotee. Exclusive. Some people, they like to preach these days about inclusivity. And they think that exclusivity is a sign of a beginner who is stuck in the neophyte stage and thus affected by flaws of sectarianism. When you're sectarian, you cannot be inclusive. Your group, party spirit, you think of my group is better than another group. My guru is better than your guru. So that's sectarianism, and that's true. it happens, and it has been listed as a typical symptom of the Kanishta Adhikari stage, the beginning stage of bhakti, the baby stage. So then one may go, well, if exclusivity, which is a sectarian exclusivity, is a symptom of the Kanishta stage, then if we want to go beyond Kanishta, we have to become inclusive. We have to include everyone. And that is expected at a particular stage. A person rejects sectarianism and they begin to develop an inclusive ethic. But that in itself, inclusivity in itself, is not a virtue. Inclusivity may just be, uninformed inclusivity may be just as damaging as bigoted exclusivity, sectarian exclusivity. They may be just as damaging as each other if it's not properly informed. But still, it's a stage that one goes through if one may abandon or grow through sectarianism and go, now I'm going to be inclusive, I'm going to hang out with all the different groups. I want to form an association which brings all these disparate groups together and we can all be one big happy family dancing around with holding hands with flowers in our hair. All the big happy devotee family, all the different groups brought together. It's a nice romantic idea, but it's got problems. You wouldn't eat anything. Without physical food, we exercise discrimination because not all food is the same. So a devotee also exercises discrimination in their association because not all association is the same. We absolutely know the difference between Vaishnav Sangha, association, and Pasandi, atheistic, or Bhogi, sense enjoyer, association. You know the difference of that. So then we can also know the difference between grades of association, even in those community of persons who call themselves devotees. Not all of it may be beneficial. There may be ideas and conceptions that are, in fact, not beneficial. And to simply use inclusivity as a justification or as an impetus to go and associate with a number of different ideas, conceptions, well, at the very best, it will leave you without a sharp conception. And if you do have a focused conception, it may blunt that down. In your diet, you don't eat all the same foods. Indeed, if you want to be a peak performer, you have to be very careful about what you include in your diet. You have to have quite an exclusive diet. So in this regard, if you want to be a peak devotee performer, you have to be very exclusive in who you associate with, both in a broad sense and in a more refined sense. You cannot be too inclusive. Not that you disrespect others, but you do not have to include them. There's a progression. It goes from sectarian exclusivity to a romantic, uninformed inclusivity, to then again exclusivity, but an informed exclusivity, non-sectarian exclusivity, because one realizes that the lotus feet of one's guru is all in all. And anything else that detracts from that, distracts from that, anything else you may include, dilutes that, and you don't want that. You see it as unbeneficial. You see it as something that will hamper your bhakti. So yes, it becomes very exclusive. Indeed, the line of Rupa Goswami is very, very exclusive. And we see those people that embody, that are the protectors, the acharyas in the line of Rupa Goswami, are extremely exclusive. Look at Gurudev's exclusivity to Guru Maharaj. He talks about it many times. He says he travels through, he gives one example of traveling through Katwa on service missions. Katwa is the place of Mahaprabhu's sannyas, but he says, I didn't hop down there. I didn't go to visit that pilgrimage site. There are many places that he could have gone, which we say legitimately for pilgrimage, legitimately for a spiritual purpose, but because it was not connected to the exclusive service of his own Gurudev, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he didn't go there. Exclusive. Param Gurudev himself, he did not want to intermingle even too much with his godbrothers in his later days. Why? Because his conception was so exclusive. His understanding of the razor-sharp line of Rupa Goswami was so accurate and developed that his exclusivity was pristine. That's why he's Bhakti Rakshak, an exclusive conception. He's protector of that conception. We see Gurudev also, as mentioned, showing that exclusivity. So that is to be developed by all of us. Exclusive dedication to Gurudev. And with that exclusive dedication, then all other desirable items will come in its retinue into one's life. All of the positive, desirable side effects of spiritual practice will come with exclusive devotion. Loyalty, exclusivity. We'll finish there for now. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gauda Bhakta Vrinda. Reading from Devotional Treasure Chest by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. Chapter 16, entitled The Line of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. Very good. Question. You have given the name of your mission as Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. What is the meaning of Chaitanya Saraswat? Srila Guru Maharaj, who is, Srila Guru Maharaj means Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. Srila Guru Maharaj. First, there was Chaitanya Mat, and Saraswati is our Gurudev. So, referring to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So, Chaitanya Saraswat, this name indicates the line from Chaitanya to Saraswati, our Gurudev. The knowledge that has come from Sri Chaitanya Dev up to Prabhupada Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Within that divine dispensation, we are to revere, accept, and preach. It is indicating the angle of vision of our Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, about Sri Chaitanya Dev, the way he saw it with his divine eyes. It is available here, and we are concerned with that. From Chaitanya to Saraswati, the whole of our Guru Parampara is covered, considered, cultured, and being preached and spread. This is Chaitanya Saraswat. Also, Chaitanya Nuga Saraswati. Saraswati means Vani, Vakya, the words or expressions of Chaitanya. Chaitanya Vani is the real preaching and instructions of Sri Chaitanya Dev. So the substantial meaning is from Chaitanya to Saraswati. It is the culture of Srimad Bhagavatam as viewed by Sri Chaitanya Dev and his followers up to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. This is the object, theme, and purpose of our life. Our nature and acquaintance is there. They are our masters, and we are the servants of that group. We want to revere them, to propagate knowledge about them, and to ask people to accept them. Our whole concern is there. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sri Dhadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Hari Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hari Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Gopala Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra. Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath. Jai Goshai Kori Charana Bandhan. Jai Goshai Kori Charana Bandhan. Jaha hoite Vignana Sabista Puran. Jaha hoite Vignana Sabista Puran. Jai Goshai Yanra Muni Tanra Das. Jai Goshai Yanra Muni Tanra Das. Jaha hoite Vignana Pada Renu Moda Panchagras. Tandera Charana Sebi Bhakta Sanibas. Tandera Charana Sebi Bhakta Sanibas. Janame Moda Eyabilas. Janame Moda Eyabilas. Jai Goshai Jabbe Braje Koilovas. Jai Goshai Jabbe Braje Koilovas. Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Kodila Prakash. Radha Krishna Nitya Leela Kodila Prakash. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan. Shri Guru Vaishnava Parima Jai Aman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Parima Jai Aman. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Padma Koreyas. Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Padma Koreyas. Harinam Sankirtan Kohe Narottama Das. Nam Sankirtan Kohe Narottama Das. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ramo Rama Ramo Hare Hare. Hare Ramo Rama Ramo Hare. Jaya Gaura Hari 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 Jaya Gaura Hari. Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitai Gaur Hari Bo Nitai Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Gaura Hari Bo. Jai Sapharikara Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Sundar Radha Giridhara Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sri Dhadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveda Vaishnav Mandala ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Brinda ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat West London ki jai. Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Nitai go Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Harinam Sankirtan Govinda Kamdas. Let's put this on. Yeah, towards bathroom.